All right, so hello and welcome to the Network for Youth Success's Lights on New York virtual celebration event. My name is Gabby Schwartz and I'm the policy coordinator here at the Network for Youth Success. We're really excited to celebrate and spotlight the critical work after-school professionals and programs have done over the past year to support New York's youth and families. We're really glad that everyone here was able to join us this evening. So tonight we are going to begin by learning a little more about Lights On After School and the importance of after-school summer and expanded learning opportunities. Then we'll hear some stories from after-school professionals, remarks from some elected officials, and see some highlights from across the state. We're also going to play 2 Kahoot trivia games for a chance to win some cool prizes tonight. So we actually do also encourage you to tweet during our event about why you love after school. So if you just use the hashtag LightsOnAfterSchool to participate, and make sure you tag us at NYS Youth Success so we can retweet them for you. The Network for Youth Success is a statewide after-school network for New York, working with 49 other state after-school networks and the National After-School Alliance. We are committed to strengthening the capacity and commitment of communities, programs, and professionals to increase access to high-quality programs and services beyond the traditional classroom. We're also the state affiliate for the National After-School Association, the New York State lead for the National Girls Collaborative Project, and also the backbone agency for the New York State Community Schools Network. We wanted to kick off the evening by thanking our after-school professionals and programs throughout the state of New York. After-school professionals have worked tirelessly to ensure youth and families have been cared for despite significant challenges this year. The work you do is essential to youth and New York, so thank you. This current year marks the 22nd annual Lights On After School event. So each year, programs nationwide host events spotlighting, appreciating, and uplifting after-school programs. These events give us the opportunity to show communities and decision makers the valuable work after-school professionals do for youth and family. After-school programs provide a wide range of services for students, families, and communities. If you could, in the chat, help us finish this statement that we have listed up here in the chat box. So high-quality after-school programs do what? So just go ahead and finish the statement in the chat box with us. Some of the examples that we came up with at the network was provide high-quality after-school programs, create a safe, fun, and supportive space for youth to go after school. They support a wide range of student needs, including social emotional learning, physical health, and career exploration. And they're flexible and rose to respond to the challenges presented by COVID-19. Let's see if we have, oh, Rachel has contributed. Thank you, Rachel. She said that they teach life skills to youth that they might not learn otherwise or elsewhere. That's a really awesome and great point that they expand outside the traditional classroom for students to really get experience in other spaces and in a safe environment where they can learn. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. These valuable programs are not only possible through are only possible through the hard work and dedication of after-school professionals. If we could do the same thing that Rachel just did in the chat by finishing this other statement that we have here, after-school professionals are what? So here at the network, we thought through just a few. After-school professionals are committed to the development and growth of the students they serve, responsive to changes in student needs and circumstances, and are connected with students, families, and communities. Those are just 3 that we quickly threw together and could fit on a slide. So let's see if anyone had any in the chat for right now today. Erin contributed that they're not babysitters. She went with the route of what they don't do, which is babysit. Adolfo contributed that after-school professionals are pioneers in creating safe space during key transition periods between school when parents and caregivers leave work. Roberto said that they're essential workers, which are both totally and completely true. Allie mentions that they're superheroes, and they definitely are. And this is a time that we want to contribute and share that. So these are all very important things that after-school professionals do for our youth and families. Being there for students during the transitional period between school and school when families are not able to care for their young is very, very important. So now I want you all to join us for some after school and Network for Youth Success trivia. So the winner will receive network swag. So there is stake in this. Join us on your phone or computer by following the link on the slides, the kahoot.it. And then Allie has also dropped in the chat the link that you can follow. It'll ask you to input a pin, which when we start sharing the screen, we'll show you right up here, as well as we will pop it into the chat for you as well. All right, awesome. So our pin is right up there, right here in the chat. Okay, and if you want to join us for doing a Kahoot, remember there are prizes at stake. So you can go in at www.kahoot.it, and then there's the game pin right there, and also in the chat box that you can copy and paste if you are on your computer. All right, I think we're gonna get started on this Kahoot right now. So go ahead and press start, Trudy. What is the name of the statewide after-school network for New York? That's us, the New York State Network for Youth Success. Which New York landmark is typically lit up for lights on after school? Yep, it's the Empire State Building. Awesome. So this is going to be a typing response. In what year did the first celebration of lights on after school occur? Oh. How many students currently benefit from publicly funded after-school programs in New York? $134,753 students. Change the board up a little bit. How many regional networks does the New York State Network for Youth Success have? And 15. We have 15 regional networks across the state of New York. What is the current funding for the Advantage After School program? $33 million. Okay. As of 2021, what is the highest per student rate for a state after-school program? So how much per student for state programs? $2,000 per student. Which of the following programs is the only direct federal funding source for after-school programs? It's our 21st Century Community Learning Centers are the only direct federal funding source. When was the first 21st Century Community Learning Center first funded? (1998). So it's been around since 1998. All right, let's see what we have on our podium. Third is Jameson. Second, we have Rachel. And first place would be Jenny. Thank you all for participating in that. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to Jenny. We will follow up with you in the chat with some details about how we can get you your prize and following up about that. So now we're actually going to hear from Senator Liu's office. Ashley is here representing Senator Liu's office as he had a prior engagement, but that's okay. She's going to speak a little bit on his behalf. So Ashley, if you'd like to take the floor and have a few words.
Good evening. I'm Ashley representing State Senator John Liu's office. Senator Liu intended to join, but is unfortunately delayed to another meeting, but he wanted me to express his full support for the NYS Network for Youth Success and all the participants joining in today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we really appreciate that, your support and Senator Liu's support. And I'm really glad you were able to make it here today.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Of course, thank you. So we are now going to hear from several providers who are going to share with us how their after-school programs have adapted and risen to the moment this year, in spite of different challenges to serve our youth. First, we have Roberto Sonaro. He's the Director of Program Operations at the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem. So Roberto, I will let you take the floor.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle, and thank you very much for joining us on this Lights After School celebration. I'm Roberto from Boys and Girls Club of Harlem, and the lockdown and pandemic really hit our communities in Harlem very hard, as we all know from the news. The one thing that we learned very quickly at our agency, among our staff, and among our families and children is how to be, it's a word we've all heard about, resilient. That's a word that third graders shouldn't necessarily know, even though it'd be great if they did. That's what we used to call an SAT word. So they learned resilient, what it is and how to be resilient. So at the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem, we immediately went into mode as to provide remote services. So we didn't cut support. So we didn't end outreach. We tried to stay nimble and do another word that we've heard about all throughout the media, and that's pivot. We had to pivot. So we did remote after school. So we then adopted the learning labs. And so we're reaching out and offering learning labs as much as we possibly can. So our young people from ages 5 all the way up to 18 are developing those essential skills to keep staying in a safe place, to keep working on their schoolwork, to keep learning and to keep growing, because we are not defined by what's happening to us. We're defined by how we respond to it. And so those are the kinds of things we did at Boys and Girls Club of Harlem. And those are the kind of skills we work with our kids and our families. We expanded our partnership with our food bank. And so we can provide backpack meals and regular food distributions as much as our partners could give out. And that benefited our community considerably. Now, we're not out of the pandemic yet, but we're gradually coming out of the lockdown. And so our programs have resumed in-person service, and little by little, we're expanding, where young people are wearing masks, such as myself. I actually don't have to wear a mask right now because I'm in a room all by myself, but I wanted to show that little by little, little by little, we're coming out of this. So eventually our kids in our community can actually be able to speak and address you all without a mask. And that's getting there, but not quite yet. The last lesson that we learned at the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem with our agency, our staff, and our families and kids was that after school and school, which we work closely with because the majority of our programs are in schools, our school sites, our work is essential. With after school, our parents can go to work, our grandparents can spend more time doing what they have to do at home to provide a safe home for their kids. With after school and center-based programs, our families can gradually develop and learn and go to school and learn new skills or change careers or get a job. And that's because of school opening up and after school. And so that's why in the chat, I said that after school employees and professionals, all the way from the executive director to the group leaders, the direct service staff, are essential workers. Because when they're on working with our kids in person and remote still, kids are safe, they're learning, and they're growing. And that's something every after school does. And we're so thankful that you could join us so we can share this and gradually be even better. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Roberto. It was so fantastic. I love all the emphasis, and thank you for expanding on your word essential. I love that. I absolutely do. So thank you again for being here, for sharing and all the great things that you've been doing in Harlem. It's amazing, honestly amazing. So next, we're going to have some words from Jenny Knox. Jenny is a youth development program coordinator at ProAction of Steuben and Yates, Inc. in Bath, New York. So she's going to speak a little. She has a slide for us. And take it away, Jenny.
Good evening. We're having a dance party, so I had to ask them to keep it down a little bit. Our program started as a community dream. It's been in the works for a while, and then when COVID hit, there was money available to work with families as we went to this hybrid learning across the state and in our county. And what we were able to provide was a safe, structured setting where kiddos could come in, bring their equipment, do the schoolwork, but then also have some downtime. Learning is play, and we did a lot of learning over the spring and summer, and everything we do is learning. And I can make it all fit in the competencies because these kids are amazing. They have been the drive behind everything the adults do. We started with this idea of, we were going to structure things very specifically. And what we've learned is after 2 years of grown-ups being weird and everything being haywire, that sometimes we just have to go play Foursquare and sometimes we just have to run around, and it's okay. We are bringing our community partners in, and they are loving the kids. We're starting a 4-H program. This winter, we're going to be building trebuchets so that we can fling things and smash things outside safely, not at people, but definitely fling and smash things because science. And in the summer, we're going to be starting a Girls Who Code Club. When the kids went back to school, we transitioned over to summer programming, and it was really helpful for families. What we heard over and over was that this really allowed families to maintain a level of, honestly, sanity, because they weren't equipped to homeschool all of a sudden. They weren't equipped to have all the kids home all the time. And that was the biggest thing that we brought to the table. So in our first year, we have had 50 families enroll. We have had constant attendance with the kids. They choose to be here rather than ride the bus home, which is great. All of our light bulbs are about how much they like coming here. They see friends, they like the staff. So we're really pleased with this first year, and we think that this is a great start to who we are and who we're going to become.
Thank you so much, Jenny. That's so good. And I love your costume. Fantastic. It brings the perfect amount of energy here today. Next, we're going to hear from Rachel Thomas, the 4-H After School Program Coordinator at Cornell Cooperative Extension of Jefferson County. So, Rachel?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. We're so excited that we were able to be a part of this as well. I am Rachel Thomas. I work for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Jefferson County. Overall, we have 11 program sites that span 6 different districts in 2 different counties. We serve on average of 800 and 900 students each year. That surpasses our target of 700 students a year. With that being said, we've provided over 20,000 hours of academic enrichment support, which has led to a 63.25% increase in ELA academic scores and 65.75% of our math academic scores. And we do not only academic enrichment, but we also do multiple different enrichment activities with our 4-H programming to include archery and outdoor education, rocketry and astronomy, coding and robotics, engineering, animal science, woodworking, metal arts, music education, 3D printing and design, hydroponics and gardening, mapping and GPS, textile design and sewing, food science, forensic science, healthy living and cooking, and of course, all of our academic support and literacy. So throughout COVID, we did get shut down in March of 2019, 2020. I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long. When we shut down, we were within a week, we had transitioned to virtual programming. We did a virtual after school academy, which had a chess club, had a coding club, it had animal science, and multiple different avenues for the kids to virtually log on and join us. We switched to in-person last school year. We did in-person programming all last school year, but we also provided avenues for them to do stuff at home if they could not be in program with us, both virtually and on their own. And this year we've transitioned to fully in person, and we're really excited to be slowly getting back to normal with our students. And my supervisor, the director of after school, also just put a comment in the chat box.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel, and also to Mitch. I'll read Mitch's comment out for everyone to hear, but Rachel's numbers on number of hours of programming and academic impact represent data we just received from our evaluators on the last 4 years of our programming from 2017 to 2021. I was going to comment on those numbers that they're fantastic. You guys are doing some really, really amazing work out in your community. And a lot of it, these stats are awesome. The ELA improvement is amazing. So thank you both so much for sharing. And we are going to now move along and hear from Adolfo Lopez. Adolfo is the Assistant Director of Greater Hudson Promise Neighborhood, and he's going to talk about the Greater Hudson Promise Neighborhood's Team TAM After School program.
Hi, what's up, everybody? Thank you for having me tonight. So I guess, sometimes it feels like it's been 3 years since the pandemic started and we're shut down, and it's just like so many things have happened. But we immediately pivoted, immediately showed this resilience, and we knew that, at Promise, our saying has always been, Promise is your neighborhood. We're an extension of the community. We've become family members to the children and the parents. We operate through a cradle to college and or career pipeline. So we try to meet every single need as best as we possibly could. So we knew immediately kids were going to be home all day. Schools were shut down. Parents were going to need extra food, extra sanitary supplies, extra cleaning supplies. So for the entire duration of the shutdown, I would be out making daily runs, dropping off groceries, cleaning supplies, whatever was basically needed. We were very thankful to have a generous donor, so we were able to provide every family enrolled in our programming with a $500 mini stimulus check, which was huge and super helpful. And then we also helped with rent assistance because people were out of work. And, Hudson, the city of Hudson is big on like hospitality, and all of that was shut down. So everybody was just hurting really bad. And then we were able to open up at the beginning of last school year. We had a few positive cases, unfortunately. So we had to shut down our after school program. But for the duration of the year, we kept open our daytime virtual learning program, which was a much smaller group of students. But these were students who necessarily didn't have access to Wi-Fi, computers, laptops, whatever they needed. So we had a group of about 9 to 10 children daily. We have a big space. Everyone was socially distanced. And we just helped them with the remote learning experience. Then we shut down again over the summer to kind of recalibrate and think where we needed to go next. And that raised another problem. Our offices are air conditioned, it's nice, it's cold, it's temperament, but a lot of people's homes didn't have these same things. So we started an emergency air conditioner program, and we were able to give 60 families in the city of Hudson air conditioners to use during the summer. So we were thankful, and it's been literally a breath of fresh air to reopen our after school program again at the beginning of this school year. We have wonderful partners that we work with. We actually partner with Cornell Cooperative Extension out here in Hudson. They come in on Mondays to do a myriad of programs. We have trauma-informed yoga that's open to the children as well as parents, caregivers. Every Tuesday, we partner with a therapeutic horse riding program to just teach kids in the city horse and equine skills. And then we have a family circus program to teach circus skills as well as promote early learning and literacy. Now, 75% of the children in the greater Hudson Promise neighborhoods Team TAM after school program are the children of incarcerated parents. As a former child of incarcerated parents and as a former incarcerated individual myself, this was a major gap for a while. The jails and the prisons weren't allowing visitors to come in. So how could we meet those needs? We were very thankful to be able to continue our relationship with the county jail here in Hudson, and we're able to sort of build our own virtual visit program in collaboration with the county jail that we have been able to offer to families and the children of incarcerated parents. Everything's running smoothly. Like I said, it's just for a while there, I would be the only person in the office for like a year, and it was like super eerie and like we're in a church in the basement. But having all these kids once again in our program and just really lights a spark in the building again. And it reminds you what this is about. It reminds you that you're helping to build a community and also cultivate a family, so Promise is your neighborhood. We always refer to everyone as the Promise family. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so fantastic. And the things you talked about are so, so important. When you were talking, it made me think a lot about how after-school programs are so important to their communities. It's not just the students, it's the entire community and their families. And you guys are really embodying that with your programming. And I really think that's fantastic. So thank you so much. And thank you for sharing. So again, thank you to these 4 individuals who came in and took some time out of their busy schedules in order to talk to us about what they're doing. We're so glad to be able to learn more about the work that you're doing for New York's youth. Again, thank you so, so much for joining us this evening. It's really good hearing from you. So next on the docket, we're actually going to share a short video from Children Aid's virtual art show that they created this year in New York City. So we will be pulling that up in just a moment. Awesome. Thank you, Trudy, for showing us that and sharing your screen for it. Yeah, it's a good display of some of the cool virtual programming that we had some students doing over the course of these lockdowns that we've had and social distancing. We also gathered highlights from those that were unable to join us to share their stories with the rest of you as well. If we could screen share once more, Trudy, thank you. Awesome. So again, we gathered some highlights from people that were unable to make it this evening. Specifically, Tuesday McDonald, the executive director of the City of Peekskill Youth Bureau, shared how her program has risen to the moment to support youth and families. The City of Peekskill Youth Bureau provided innovative programming during the pandemic, including hybrid services to keep youth energized and informed. This included classes such as boat making, cooking, boxing, dancing, and jewelry making. As you can see some examples up here of the boxing and the boat making. To provide these classes and other programming opportunities, they also invited their community partners to participate with them. So it was a collaborative community effort. Tuesday was unable to make it because she is hosting her own Lights On event. However, she gave me permission to share her why for working in the after-school field. Tuesday supports after school because she knows that it takes a village to raise a child because a village raised her. The after-school programs in Peekskill helped mold her into the woman she is today by becoming her safe space, where she could get extra homework help, enrichment, and exposure to new ideas. After school taught her skills and activities outside the typical school day, including cheerleading, learning to crochet, creative writing, and public speaking. I had a quick, comment from her on that slide as well. Sorry about that. An after-school professional in New York City shared that their after-school program gave emotional and social support to youth amid the challenges presented by the pandemic. They work in the after-school field because they enjoy giving participants in the program opportunities to succeed that are not usually readily available to them. We also had some comments out from 4-H after-school programs in Jefferson County. So the 4-H after-school programs in Jefferson County were also able to share some highlights from program coordinators that were not able to attend this evening. Their program works to remain relevant to youth interests by offering programs such as public speaking clubs to build youth confidence and teaching them to become social media influencers with activities informed by the research-based programming called Social Media Test Drive, an internet safety program from Cornell Lab of Social Media. Other programs include 3D printing, where youth are able to design 3D projects from scratch, New York State 4-H shooting sports archery programs, GPS and geospatial science, and textile design. During the peak of COVID-19, the 4-H after-school programs in Jefferson County began designing innovative strategies and programming to reach youth. For example, after-school professionals created maker kits that students could put together with instruction and accompanying videos. They also began offering clubs and activities, including a very successful chess club where students met 3 days a week and used a virtual application to interact live, paired with the chess program that taught, engaged, and challenged students. These activities helped keep students engaged and reached over 500 students in the process. Program coordinators from 4-H after-school programs in Jefferson County also shared their why for working in after-school programs. Working in after-school allows them the flexibility to fulfill youth needs in a less structured way than the traditional education. Further, it gives educators the opportunity to see the growth of students outside the classroom and over multiple years. These connections allow an after-school professional to become a trusted adult in a student's life and to make a difference. We will now hear some remarks from our legislative representatives. See who we have on right now. I know I saw Liz now on from Senator Brisport's office. So I'm going to defer to you to say a few words on behalf of Senator Brisport.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everybody. My name is Liz. I'm Jabari's deputy chief of staff. And it's great to be here with you all. As you may or may not be aware, the senator is the chair of the Children and Families Committee in Albany. So the work that New York State Network for Youth Success is doing is paramount to the work that we're doing in Albany. We have an ongoing childcare tour across the state where every Wednesday evening we visit different childcare facilities to get a good understanding of what challenges they're facing and just what's going on in our communities, because childcare, like after school programming, really serves as a vehicle to get much needed sort of benefits and services to families, regardless of income level, but especially for those in need. So I just want to thank you all for having us here and congratulate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And your guys' support is so integral to what we do as well. We really appreciate that. So thank you again. Right now, we're actually going to move into our next round of Kahoot. So we're going to do a round 2. So if you didn't get an opportunity to join or you didn't get an opportunity to win last time, then we have another chance for you right now. So like before, we're going to pull up a slide that you can share the information to, and we're going to drop in the chat. It's kahoot.it, which Ellie just dropped there. And then when we share our screen with the pin, we'll drop that in the chat as well for you to join. We encourage everyone on the call to join as well. So it doesn't just have, if you're from a legislative office, you're welcome to join as well. Okay, it looks like our game pin is 7818480, which Ali just dropped in the chat as well. We need someone to challenge our champion, Jenny.
I learned an important lesson that you cannot multitask and play Kahoot. It's not gonna work. You'll end up in last place like last time. Let's see how I do.
It goes quick and you gotta pay attention to the question and your phone, and it's like a whole process. Right, again, if you wanna join us, kahoot.it right at on the left side over there, and then the game pin is over at on the top part on the right. All right, one last call, and then I'm going to tell Trudy to start it. So kahoot.it, game pin. Oh, we lost someone. Can join on your phone. It's, I think, the easiest way. The computer one can be a little. All right, I'm going to give Trudy the go ahead to press start. All right, what percentage of New York parents and guardians are satisfied with their child's overall after-school program experience? It is 94%. So 94% of parents and guardians are satisfied with their after school experience. That's amazing. And you can tell by the testament of the work that the people here talked about today. Overwhelming percentage. All right, approximately how many students would participate in an after-school program if it were available to them in 2020? It is 1.6 million. So there is a big demand for after-school programs. All right, true or false? 9 out of 10 independents, Republicans, and Democrats support the public funding for after-school programs. You guys were all quick with that one. It is true. And I'm glad we all got that. So that shows overwhelming support for after-school programs. Approximately how many New York children were left unsupervised between 3 and 6 p.m. in 2020? We have 340,000 children in New York. Maria is on fire. What percentage of New York parents report that after-school programs are too expensive? %58 of parents. Oh, we have some competition coming up on Maria. Approximately what percentage of after-school programs are located in a public school building? %77%. So a pretty strong majority on that. Okay, another typing. For every child participating in an after-school program in New York, how many are waiting to get into a program? So for each child participating, how many are waiting? It is 4. The current public investment in after school in New York peaks at approximately $222.9 million. Maria's still at the top. And then we have a typing answer. As of 2020, what percentage of child care development block grant subsidies support school-aged children in New York? So that's a tough one. 46%. All right. And with that, we have Sadie. Jenny is our second place. And Maria has gotten it this time. So good job, everyone. Thank you all for participating again. And congratulations to Maria. We will have someone following up with you in the chat about our network swag that you will be able to get from winning today. So we have Assemblymember Hevesy, who has joined us to share a few words on about after school. So Assemblymember Hevesy represents the 28th Assembly District and serves as the chair of the Committee on Children and Families. So Assemblymember Hevesy, if you'd like to share.
Yeah. Hi, Gabrielle. I am not driving. I swear, I promise. So hi, everybody. Hi, Trudy, Allie, and all of my other friends, Kelly. It's really great to be here. Look, I swear I'm not driving. So it's great to be here. Let me tell you where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a Beacon after school program. Just had a celebration at Russell Sage Junior High School in my district with a bunch of parents and kids talking about how important the after school program is. And we just listened to a number of youngsters read about how important after school is. And I was honored to be there and honored to be with you guys. So if I can, let me just for a second give you my sense of where we need to go with after school, if I can, following your guidance and advice. But I want to hit on the importance of after school by focusing on, for me, from a public policy standpoint, again, I'm going to keep hitting this one. I look at the world in an interesting way as chair of children and families, and some of my colleagues are starting to do as well, which is we need to be focused on doing everything we can to prevent childhood trauma and adverse childhood experience from kids. And then if kids are traumatized or are traumatized and need assistance, then we get them the help that they need, and we are there to mitigate the consequences of the trauma so those kids are not doomed or defined by that trauma. Now, that's especially important considering COVID, but after school is the primary mechanism to do that. Childcare is fantastic too, but after school, it's when the kids are more likely to get in trouble. It's exactly what parents need from just an economic perspective, because there's no jobs in the world that let a parent out at 2 o'clock. So you got to have after school for the economy. You got to have the after school for the kids because it helps prevent trauma, and then it helps kids mitigate the effects of trauma because they're with their friends, there's social emotional learning, they're with their teachers. And by the way, I recognize that you are teachers, you are providing curriculum, you are helping those kids in school. The benefits are myriad. But then if I can just turn to our history of after school over the last 10 years in New York State, it has not been successful. And I'm going to lay blame at the feet of the former governor, who's not having a good day, but the former governor, he was divesting from programs for kids for years, and he had been flat funding after school for many years. And then even worse, to add insult to injury, he would give a differential rate to the program that he named the Excelsior program. And then when there are other kids in other programs like Advantage, they had a lower rate, a complete lack of respect to those kids. So we now, with a new governor, we have opportunities to work together to go get new money. And I want to be absolutely clear about this. In the child welfare and children and family sector, there's nothing we can do without going to get a lot of revenue. Everything needs revenue because there's been systemic underinvestment. So I look forward to partnering with everybody on this call to go fight for that money. And then I will follow your advice on how to use it appropriately to make our after schools as widely available, as helpful to our kids, helpful to our parents, and to actually, for the first time, value the workforce who spends time taking care of our kids every day because they're completely undervalued. All right, I think I've talked enough. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to be here. It's been such a privilege. And congratulations on after school night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Hevesy. And it's so glad to hear that you were just at a program, you're not driving, and you're on your way home now. But thank you so much again for those words and just showing again how much we do need support for the after school field and your appreciation for the programs and what they do. So with all of that, I am going to finish off by thanking everyone for joining us this evening. Trudy, if you could pull up our final slide for a frame of reference for everyone for what I'm about to say. Thank you. So to finish off, if you're interested in learning more about how to become involved with advocacy around after school, then you can sign up for our Power of 3 PM listserv where we share policy updates on the field. So if you want to be involved, it's a really quick and easy way. We're going to drop the link to sign up for that in the chat. You can also learn more about the landscape of after school in New York and strategies for developing partnerships by viewing our Lights on New York virtual series recordings that we did earlier this month. So we had one about the landscape of after school in New York, as well as partnerships in after school. And if you'd like to get more involved with the network's policy and advocacy efforts, you can reach out to Trudy Morgan at trudy@networkforyouthsuccess.org. She is our policy director, and she's the go-to person for getting involved. So with that all in mind, again, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening and for my support from Allie and Trudy this evening and my speakers. And Lights on After School celebration. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.